Yo, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls, and welcome to another video from my bike build series where I take you through the process of building up my specialized Allez Sprint. In this video, we will be installing my carbon fork / steer tube, alloy stem, as well as a set of Shimano Ultegra R8000 rim brake calipers. Now, for this installation, we will need just a handful of items. We will need some grease for lubrication, a set of Allen wrenches, as well as a torque wrench so that we can torque down the bolts to the manufacturer specification. So let's get started. All right, guys, so starting with the carbon fork. In another video, we've already measured and cut the carbon steer tube to our desired length. So now it's simply a matter of greasing the carbon steer tube and installing it into the bike frame. So let's go ahead and apply a little bit of grease. And you don't need a whole lot of grease, just some down here below. And by the way, the bearings came pre-installed into the frame. So that's why you don't see it here on the fork. It's because it's already inside of the frame. And let's go ahead and install this. And we can't forget these, which goes on top of the frame to hold the fork in place at our top bearing, like so. Next up, we will install our spacers. A tad of grease, not too much here. All right, now with the spacers now installed, we can go ahead and finish off by installing our bike stem. So there's that piece like so. Now we will install this. A little bit of give in there. It's going in, it's going in. Now we want to make sure that we get rid of all of the play down here. Okay, so with the fork installed, our bearings installed, our spacers installed, and our stem, we now can finish off this installation with the top cap. Now, you don't have to torque this down super duper tight. The idea is to tighten this top bolt just enough to remove any play from the steer tube. Just a little bit more. And I am using a 5mm hex key. All right, guys, so now that we've installed our top cap, we can go ahead and finish off this part of the installation by torquing down these two bolts for the stem. Now, the recommended torque is 6 Newton meters for each bolt, but I'm just gonna bolt them down to about 5 Newton meters. And we are using a torque wrench, which is extremely important if you're going to be putting your bike together yourself at home. And we are using a 4mm Allen just to get it going. As we're installing this, we want to make sure that we have equal torque and force on both sides here. Shout out to Pro Bike Tools for this torque wrench. All right, that's a click. Oh, and I should also mention that, yes, I do have the handlebars installed, but they're just mocked up right now. That will be coming in another video as far as how we're going to set up and install our handlebars. Alrighty, so now we will be installing this pair of Ultegra R8000 rim brake calipers. One of the things I really like about using rim brake is they're so easy to install, they're so easy to maintain, they're so easy to adjust on the fly, and they also accommodate wider size tires and rims. According to Shimano, the recommended torque setting for this is 8 to 10 Newton meters, and we'll need a 5mm Allen key as well as a torque wrench. So let's continue. Alrighty, so the first thing we need to do is remove this bolt cap, and then we can go ahead and install our front caliper. And I just dropped the bolt. Womp womp womp. For the front brake caliper, you twist it into the frame to get it started. Afterwards, you'll install the top cap bolt. Then from there, you'll torque it down using an Allen key and a torque wrench down to the manufacturer specifications. Now, moving on to the back, it's essentially the same process. You mount the caliper, install the top cap using an Allen key and a torque wrench. You're going to torque down that bolt to the recommended specifications. Once you're done with that, you'll adjust and center the caliper as needed. Make sure everything looks good, and we are all set to go. Alrighty, guys, so that about wraps it up for this build video. As always, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below, and I'll check you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace. Bye bye. Bye bye. Just kidding. That was stupid.